Okay. Hello, everyone. This is my first ever video recorded of myself on this channel. I'm actually re-recording because the previous one I made, where I still had my beard, it was a whole different video. It when I uploaded it to YouTube, it didn't translate. It didn't have the audio go through. So even though during testing I could hear myself speak, once I posted it and published it, and then went to go watch it as a viewer, I couldn't hear anything, so I deleted it. I don't know what's gonna happen this time. I'm gonna try to figure out what exactly is the problem there. But this video is about. It's kind of like I guess like a dialogue, just about some experiences that I have, and I'm trying to see if I can resonate with any other people out there. First of all, the name of this channel is No Brainer. I don't think I'm gonna change the name. It used to just exist as my first attempt at uploading like video game videos. Those didn't really go anywhere, and I wasn't consistent with those, and I kind of forgot about it. But as of late, I got the mind to upload some videos of myself to the internet. So that's what I'm doing today. And the topic is going to be about being a black man who is not indulgent in most of our culture, and how that how that affects my perspective in my life, and what that experience is like. So the first thing is, I've never really been into the culture that we are supposed to share and take pride in as a black people. And I'm not talking about things that are healthy and glorious and that give us meaning and give us purpose and give us significance on the world stage. Things that can be referenced in history, accomplishments and achievements that are great. I'm not talking about any of that. That is all great stuff, and I take pride in the fact that people came before me, did that, and that some of that carries on into me. I take pride in that. What I do not take pride in, what I do not exonerate, and what I do not copy or perpetuate in my life is the other culture, the culture that we have today, which I think what I call, and I think this is a more accurate term for it, is anti-culture, right? Because the idea around culture is cultivation of a people. So that's the uplifting of a people, the continuation of a people, then the slow, gradual enhancing and evolution in social dynamics, and physically, mentally, all these things can all be affected by a culture if it's moving in one direction consistently to the people who are inside of that culture. Excuse me. We have a culture that is not good for any of those things. So I call it anti-culture because it's the opposite of culture. So this entails things like YNs and ghetto fabulous behaviors, ghetto ratchet behaviors, gang affiliation, and drugs, money, bitches, cars, and that's basically the whole. That's the deepest that goes. That's the deepest it goes as far as what are the things that we desire as a collective. That's the hallmark. Monies, drugs, hoes, and materialistic things. Buying things, mostly fast cars. This is so uh, repulsive to me because when I was born, I mean, not when I was born. When I started thinking about things as a young child, my first thoughts were kind of always orientated around love and what I can experience in the world and what I can do to the world in a good way, and also what I can bring into my own life, what good experiences I can have in a good way. So it never really occurred to me that I should pursue things like the things that I mentioned before. They're not good things, and they don't help me bring anything good into the world. So I never gravitated towards those things. I stayed pretty genuine to my inner child throughout my entire life, even through school. Uh, so it just, even when it came up and other people were doing it, or it became popular and it became part of the cool things to do, I still didn't gravitate towards those things, and I actively avoided those things. So if I saw that there were people, or there were a group of people who were moving in that direction and that was their vibe, that was their energy, I would not do that. And how that has affected my life as a black man is very obvious and very telling. One of the ways is a silent excommunication from various places. Of course, partially of my own doing, since I chose not to indulge in many of the things, but it's also because there is no other avenues that exist that are as overt and easy to understand, or that exist, that have enough presence to attract black people to them in the black community, that is not based around those things. So, for example, in another community, like a Hispanic community, you could say in a Hispanic community, there are people like that. There are like cholos and gangsters, and they do that stuff. But then there are people who are very much not doing any of that. And there's a family orientated, strong culture, strong tradition vibe that a lot of them embody, and that they synchronize with each other on that. And they abstain from the gangster stuff. And this is identifiable, large, or a substantial chunk of them that do that. So when you're trying to navigate within the Hispanic community, you can identify what group you want to be in, or who you rather more closely be associated with it within the community. That does not exist in the black community, not to my knowledge, not from my experience, and not according to the internet. I have not seen a place where it's like, okay, well, this is the area where we as black people, we just focus on improving ourselves. That's not attached to no religion. I'm not talking about Israelites. No, just black people that want to do good for themselves. It doesn't have to be religious. Yeah, so just a group of black people who are like, the narratives that are around here, we're not down with that. We're going to do this, and anyone who wants to join us can. Like, I don't see that. So I feel I don't feel I am ostracized from a lot of activity and a lot of groups off rip, because it's easy to tell that I'm weird when I approach. I'm not like bad at talking to people. I can get along with people very well, actually. But it's still easy to tell that I'm not, like, I can't fucking bond with people over like hangover stories and all the other types of silly, chaotic, self destructive shit that people do in their free time. I don't have any of those stories. I can't resonate with any of that stuff. And it becomes, like I said, very evident quickly that I'm not doing any of that. And then they start to move away from me. Or I just move away because I can feel that the space is not meshing with me. I'm not. There's no space. There's no position for me to feel here. There's no. I can't occupy the space comfortably without adopting some of that stuff. And I don't want to do. And I'm not going to do any of that stuff. So ostracize, silent ostracization, if that's even a word, ostracization from my community, right? And then there's vocal and not silent, loud, vocal, deliberate ostracization from my communities, from my community. So people like myself will be called lame, right? So if you're not down with this stuff, you don't do that stuff, you're lame. You're a lame ass, square ass man, or nigga, or bitch, or whatever they want to say. You lame, you square. You don't want to destroy yourself. You don't want to kill other black people. You don't want to be angry all the time. You don't want to do drugs. You don't want to fuck bitches. You don't want these things. You're lame. that automatically disqualifies me again from a lot of things in my community. It disqualifies me from a lot of women as well. Women will see me, and once they identify me and accept that identification that might be given to me by somebody else as a lame man, a lame black man, then they're going to see me as a nerdy, lame black man. It does not help that I am not tall, and that I have a average build, slightly above average, maybe barely, but I'm not fat. I've never been fat or unhealthy, but I've never been shredded either. So that's how I look. So there's nothing like super substantial about my body. So that's a and so from that area, that being a factor in who I am. When you add on to that the community considers me to be lame, and you add on to that I don't have like a huge amount of status or money, I basically don't exist. I'm a ghost in my community. This is the case for a lot of people. Right? I'm not here to just talk about me. I'm here to see who I can resonate with, and what kind of community I can build on this platform, and what kind of men in the world resonate with me. There should be plenty of us because we are the majority. We already know that women like to focus upwards like that. So if women are around a bunch of dudes, those dudes are the minority. We are this larger group that just kind of sits in silence. But we don't have to sit in silence. The other part of what I'm trying to do here with this video is I'm trying to point out our strength. I'm not here just to complain or to bitch, but I'll get to that part later. I have to also point out, and getting back to the previous topic, which is how this affects my life. Besides disqualifying me from the community in many ways, publicly or vocally, silently, and disqualifying me from women for various reasons, but from most of the black women in my communities where I go to school, where I go to be around black people, the black women there, they don't want to touch me, they don't like me. Aside from both of those things, it also puts me in a strange space, just like living my life, because since I don't identify with any of those things, I have to really focus on my own sense of identity. Right? This is something that a lot of black people don't have to do. It's most likely why there are so many black people who just default to the self-destructive stuff because they don't have the courage, or they are lazy, or they never think it's as important as they don't think it's important to build their own identity. So that means you sit down with yourself and you figure out what who you are, right? So no one's telling you, oh, this is what you should be, or this is probably where you're at, this is where you should gravitate towards. That's not happening. You are by yourself. Um, there are no distractions, or there are no other paths that are being presented to you that are from a community or nothing. It's just you. We, me and other black people like me, black men and women like me. I'm sure there's some girls like me too, but where, I don't know. We have to do that for ourselves. There is no easy way to figure out basically our purpose and our destiny, or how we're supposed to fit into the world and what we're supposed to do for the world and to the world. We have to figure out all of that by ourselves. Uh, and when we do that, usually because the world is diverse, and black people, just like any other people, can be born with all kinds of talents and things. Usually that just kind of makes it even harder for you to fit in, because once you figure out what it is you like to do, 9 times out of 10, that thing is not synonymous with the anti-culture, right? It's something very personal to you. You just discovered it on your own. It's not synonymous with the anti-culture. It's not about bitches and drugs and all that stuff. It's just like, oh, I love marine life. I love marine. That's not me, but I'm gonna give you an example. I love marine life. I love to see the sea turtles and the jellyfish, and the coral grow, and different kinds of coral, that some are lighter, some are darker. I love the marine life. That's what I want to do. So I'm about to go be a marine biologist. That's not synonymous with the anti-culture. And for some reason, for whatever reason, the anti-culture is our identity on the world stage, and it doesn't seem like there's enough concentrated effort, real concentrated effort from within our community, not attached to religious organizations, to undo or to remedy this. It's just like people have accepted that, like when you see a black person ghetto, loud, angry, violent, ratchet, like that's just, even when we travel abroad, because most of the people who are seen as representatives, because they deliberately put people who are from our demographic into successful influential positions that continue to push this narrative, right? You don't it's not They're not celebrating articulate intelligent marine biologist Sydney Abdadue or whatever. I'm just making up a name. Sydney Abdadue is a marine biologist. She's beautiful. She's intelligent. She does not twerk. She's not going to get the limelight. You know who's going to get the limelight? Sexy Red. And Sexy Red is going to travel to another place and represent us. She's our, no one's, people ain't familiar with black people over there. She goes over there and she acts how she acts. Now, she's technically, in a way, she's our representative to those people. So now that behavior profile is the anti-culture, the one that's synonymous with the anti-culture. That's our profile for a lot of places around the world, not just here in America. And like I said, we have not put any concentrated effort in undoing that or changing that. So that affects me because if I was to travel, depending on where I go, I still have to contend with this stereotypes and archetypes. They're like glued to me, and I have to, not only when I go to a place, establish myself as a person, but now I have to do a uphill battle to show people that I'm not that other thing that they think that I am, because of my representatives and what they show the world as black people to be. Apart from all of those things, it makes it very easy. Those are the cons, I guess. Yeah, those are all the con things I can list right now. But there are some pros. Here are some of the pros for me, personally. Personally speaking, I have the ability to easily isolate myself. Now, somebody might say that's not really a pro. It is a pro because the world is very dramatic and full of activity. Um, because it's so full of activity, sometimes you need isolation to function. You need a little quiet space. I can always do that for myself at any time because I don't have huge groups of people around me or a bunch of people paying attention to me. So that's a pro. Another pro is once I do discover my purpose, I have a lot of freedom. No assistance, but I have a lot of freedom in moving towards it, working towards it, building it, understanding it more in depth as to what I want to do and who I am and what my purpose is. I can do that for myself quite easily because of the isolation. Uh, so if you focus on it really hard, and you work towards it, it's kind of like straight and arrow, to go from zero to your destination because there's not really any distractions, right? You're not clubbing, you're not doing other things unless you pick up some other self-destructive hobbies or activities on your own. There's not much to distract you, and it's a straight arrow to where you're trying to go. So that's another pro. Um, I'm gonna have to pause. I'm gonna have to continue this video in another video. This is the first time I've ever done this. All the editing software is like I'm not doing that stuff. So it's not like I can't figure it out. It's pretty simple. It's just that every time I try to export my files, it tries to charge me, and I'm not paying for that. If I can just upload it from here to the computer, I'm not paying for export, nothing. So I'm gonna break this up. I'm gonna publish this one, and then I'm gonna make another one, and then I'm gonna publish that one as a separate video. That's continuing from this one. They don't have no intros or outros or music or none of that. This is raw footage. how the other one's gonna be. So this is already 20 minutes. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop this and upload another one.